At the point I decided to do FFP, I had been doing mentorship with one of my key mentors, and we had talked about sitting on boards and what is needed on boards and what kind of person is needed on a board. And one of the key courses that we had pointed out towards growth into sitting on a board was basically FFP. So basically after that conversation, I went out in search of what FFP was, what it could do for me. And it's at that point where I got to join FFP.
The bank has a development plan for successors into the general manager positions and the executive positions, and I was within the successor pool. So the bank is intentional to manage the talent risk, and so on every year they have teams that participate in the program. So I was lined up, but I would say it came in at the right moment.
When I worked with the bank, my director then, the person I was reporting to, was doing this program. And I saw how she delivered. I like to deliver a good job. She was smart, she was strategic. And she told me during one of our one-on-one conversations, supervisor-supervisee, she said, well, I'm doing this course and I think you'd be a good fit for it.
During COVID time, there was less travel at my place. There were funds that were lying somewhere on different budgets. So we requested that we attend the Female Future program. So where did it find me really? I would tell you that it found me at a place where I would call stunted. I was at a crossroads. I was not sure if I was doing enough, or I needed a push, or I needed a mentor. I wasn't really sure where I was.
The Female Future program found me when I was working for UAP, Old Mutual, as their company secretary and legal manager. And you know, when you have worked for some time and you just feel like things are not moving, or you have plateaued. You know, you have worked, you have gone up, but you have reached a certain plateau and you're not growing anymore. So that's the point at which I was when I was told about FFP.
Just before the COVID crisis came in, I was talking to a friend of mine and I'd keep asking her, what is this course you're doing? So she took me through that course. And I discovered just from the discussion I'd had with her that it could maybe take me from where I was to where I wanted to go. I had very many plans in my head. How do I achieve them? I had a bit of self-doubt, but FFP found me at that point in time and I applied for it and I was approved to join the program.
FFP found me in a midlife crisis, I would say. I was depressed. I did not feel like I was growing. I felt stuck, and by stuck I don't mean only in my career, but also in my life generally. I was going nowhere. I did not feel like networking. I never felt like engaging with people. I was bored.
I had friends at the bank here who had been part of the program, and I had realized a major change in them, their presentation skills, the confidence. So I had a realization that there are people that I admired, and I didn't know what it was that made them tick until the ladies actually walked me through the fact that they had done the FFP program.
I was somehow in my comfort zone. However, I was approaching the management level where competition was a bit tight and I was a bit relaxed. And in my personal life, I was going out to start projects, but I was still having this vague idea.
One of the biggest impacts that the FFP has had on me is the fact that I'm extremely confident. I walk into any office, get whatever I want. That was the confidence that FFP built, and it also helped improve me as a manager. You know, when we talked, we did read a lot of books, and I remember one of the books that we read about was the monkeys that we carry. And being a manager, you find that you're carrying so many people's monkeys and you never even get to, you know, to develop or to do better at your job. So even the books that we read, they kind of gave us learning points in becoming better people. But what I would say is the main thing that I picked out of FFP was, one, networking. I was able to meet ladies who were MDs, who were CEOs, and these are now my personal friends. And then it also gave me the confidence to be able to stand, to engage, and to get what I want and get where I want to be.
Now I'm a board member on a number of boards and school boards, but I clearly see the board dynamics that I picked from the FFP module. The way men react and the way women react, it was so visible. At times I look back and I say, oh my God, if I hadn't done the FFP program, probably my value on the boards that I serve wouldn't have been as good. However, it came in at the right time. I'll now get into the boardroom. I will prepare very well. I'll read my documents. I'll have the right questions. And for the boards that I'll serve, I trust if they asked any of the people that I'm serving with, they'll say I'm really an invaluable member on the board. And it was because of FFP.
I learned to be a better parent, to listen more. I have 3 beautiful daughters. I was also, I think, not as good as I am right now. They even comment and tell me, Mommy, I don't know, ever since you joined the FFP, we don't know what happened. I am more patient with them. I listen to them. I think I'm a more better parent now. But more so also at work, I think that my teams have benefited because you get the skill of mentorship. You're able to mentor them on a daily. You're able to grow them. So I think that from the work front and the home front, I've had great impact. And I see my teams flying. I see them doing great and immense work. But I couldn't have done this without the FFP program.
Among the other things about the program was preparing us for board engagements. We prepared for board engagements looking at how we can be able to become board members. I'm happy to be able to say right now, I am a board committee member with UAP on the audit committee, and it has given me a very different light on how I can be able to engage and manage.
At the time when I did that course, I was struggling with my workplace, but I was inspired to look elsewhere. It got into me that, know your value, be self-aware, and if you're not happy here, you can always deliver elsewhere. And I made a decision and I moved. So now I deliver in an environment where I make more impact.
I think for me the biggest impact has been transitioning from being employed to becoming self-employed. That has been the biggest. And I'm sure FFP is one of those things that really pushed me to look towards being employed by myself other than having to work for somebody. So it kind of gave me a different perspective. It gave me confidence. It taught me that I could survive out of being employed. And I think that is the reason I'm here now. Just started a business. It's an advisory firm. It's not so different from what I have been doing for the companies that I have worked for, but I'm now serving in a different capacity. I have my clients, and I hope things will work out fine.
There is a requirement for us during this program to come up with a life plan. And it's supposed to look at your entire life, family life, your health, your social life, your career life, your even religious life. So now I do everything on purpose. If it's putting money aside to get something, I do it on purpose. And I have a goal and I have a target. If it's going out with family to have lunch or dinner, it is scheduled, it is purposeful. If it's going to visit a child, it is planned.
During one of those sessions, we had to do, I can't remember exactly what it is. It's like your big, audacious goal that you'd want to achieve. And we wrote down our dreams, our goals. And one of those things for me that came out was on mentoring and teaching, especially if I could get to teach the girls, the women. So an opportunity then later came up, and I'm now one of the facilitators for some of the modules in FFP. And it, should I say, validated that I could run a business. And so when I left formal employment, I'm now running my own business. I have a team of 7 I'm leading.
Given the nature of work I do, FFP has really impacted on my life because now I'm able to lead teams and I'm able to write my reports in the shortest time possible, given now that I know how to structure and I know how to use the different arguments and the knowledge I got from FFP. So it's like I'm using half of the time I used to use before to do my work.
To define FFP, for me, FFP was very strategic, okay, very inspirational and life-changing.
Allow me to use the acronym itself, FFP. It is fascinating, it is focused, and it's priceless.